to one of our Carnation Farms high tunnels. This is a tomato house, and we have 7 rows with about 30 plants each. So they're about 3 feet apart, and we trellis them using string lines that go up to wires. And this is a really efficient way of growing tomatoes. Each tomato in here will produce probably 20 to 30 pounds of tomatoes, and this is our heirloom house. So there's all different heirloom varieties in here, all different colors, a lot of different flavors. Really great for pretty much anything. Slice them and make sandwich or make them into sauce. And so this will be walls of tomatoes by August. So we typically cut them off at about 9 feet when they get above our heads, and then that forces the plant to put more effort into producing the fruit that's already hanging on it. If you let them keep growing, then they just keep growing upwards, and they don't produce as much fruit potentially. So this is one of our houses. We also have another high tunnel that's just paste tomatoes. We call it the house of paste. And then we have a house with a lot of cherry tomatoes in it as well. And today we're going to talk about planting tomatoes and managing tomatoes. So we've had some questions. How do you plant tomatoes? And then also how do you prune them? So you'll likely get your tomato in a little pot like this. You want to keep the tag and the label so you know what it is, and gently pull it out of the container. So you just give it a squeeze, and it'll come out with this soil block, and all the roots are in that soil. So with tomatoes are a little different than other plants. You can plant them a lot deeper. Typically when you buy vegetable starts, you plant them the same surface, you plant them at the same surface level as they are in the pot. With tomatoes, you plant them deeper. If you look at a tomato stem, it has all these little white hairs on it, and those actually turn into roots. So if you plant the tomato a little deeper, you'll get a better root system because those little white hairs will turn into roots. And so you can also prune off before you put it in the ground. Prune off all these leaves so that they're not under the soil surface. And then you just put it in the hole. I'm going to take off a couple more. Might seem weird to plant this deep. And then you just fill in soil around the plant. So it's going to be planted a lot deeper than it was in the pot, but you'll get a better and stronger plant as a result. And then with most tomatoes, you also want to have some sort of system that it can climb on or lean on. So a lot of folks use these tomato cages, which you just put around the base of the tomato, and then it will grow up through and kind of spill over the sides. So it's a support like this. In our high tunnel, so we grow all our tomatoes under big plastic high tunnels. We actually will tie this twine to the base of the plant and then twist the top of the plant around the string line. And by August, usually they're about 9 feet tall. So it's nice and warm in here. We can control the watering. So that's kind of how you plant a tomato and why you plant them deep, and then making sure they have a support system that they can grow up. So now that the plant's been in the ground, these have been planted for about a month and a week, so they grow really quickly. It's been trellised, so it's on the string line, and it's important to prune your tomatoes. So you have to determine what the leader is on the plant, so that's the main stem. And you'll see this one has a fruiting trellis, so there'll be tomatoes produced on this trellis. But in every leaf axil junction, so where the leaf grows into the main stem, there's what's called a sucker, and you want to prune those out because they'll grow and take a lot of nutrients and energy from the plant that it could be producing fruit. So you just want to either snip them off with a sharp pair of scissors or some pruners. So here's an example here. This is the leaf, and then this is the sucker. So it's almost as big as the plant, and you just want to break it off or prune it off. And that leaves all the energy in the plant to produce fruit. And so every single one of the leaf junctions has a sucker. Not sure if you can see these ones here. So these little tiny ones you just pull off with your fingers, and then that allows the plant to pull out all its energy into fruit production. So sometimes you might miss a sucker. You can go back. There's one on the bottom here. This big branch is a sucker. So you just look for the leaf and then where the leaf attaches to the main stem. And you want to prune out all of those suckers. So we usually come through every week or week and a half. This is our trellising system. We wrap the main stem around the twine so it literally just spirals up. And then we'll pull all the suckers out at the same time. And it's okay if you're not sure which stem is the leader to wait a week or two. Usually it becomes pretty apparent. And then you don't want to prune off the fruiting trellises. So where there's flowers, it's a different looking kind of branch. You want to leave those on so you get fruit. Hopefully you'll have a really productive plant. So thanks for watching.